right, let's start with our cards. Take a breath in. 20% radiation. We'll intersegmentally flex our chin down to our chest. Roll that chin to the right. Rock it around. Make as big a circle as possible. 2 times. Good. At the midline, you're going to pause, reverse it. 1 more time. Great. Crisscross here. And keep that irradiation. We're going to intersegmentally flex your elbows down to your belly button. Rotate to the right and roll through the side bend. Extending, pinching those shoulder blades back. Roll into the left side, around the front. 1 more time. Pause and reverse it. Rotate left. Then roll into the side bend and pinch back. 1 more time. Did you do 2 of those?
That was 2.
Okay. All right, arms out front, make a little V, elbows locked straight, take a breath in. Let's bring those shoulder blades up and up together, down and out, and roll around 1 more time. Up, together, down and out. Let's go up and then pause and go down, together, up and out, down, together, up and out. Excellent. Right shoulder. Take a breath in. We'll get a space eventually with bigger ceilings. Rocking through. Good, and reverse it. It is amazing how the more you do this, it does get so much easier. Mm-hmm. More fluid and good. Other side. Set your irradiation. Make sure you're not losing that. Bring it across and up. Good. Actually, I've been taking my magnesium at bedtime with some L-threonate, and I think it's been helping a lot too. Okay. And those. Up. Rotate through and down, rotate open.
What does the L-threonate do? It
allows you to bring the magnesium into the central nervous system. Because without it, so rotate in, bring it up, rotate out and open. 1 more time. So you should have enough L-threonate in your system, but I think a lot of people just have like amino acid deficiencies, so they don't. So you can take it. Taking it with a little L-threonate, just make sure that you get, having it happen. So when people have sleep issues, go down, out, up and around. Everyone goes to the melatonin, but the melatonin is going to help you fall asleep, but it doesn't have, people have issues keep staying asleep. Okay, reverse it. So you're going to go in, up and around. So that's where I actually recommend glycine. And then the magnesium with L-threonate. That's my recipe to keep me, I sleep soundly when I do take those. Okay, take a breath in, set your irradiation, and go out and up, through. That's like that protein, getting enough protein as we were talking about, or getting enough of the right proteins. Like you're maybe eating protein, maybe eating all the same proteins.
Right.
Then you're missing, certain amino acids because they all have different compositions. Good. Wrist. Make sure you got your 20% irradiation. We're going to go down, out, up and around for 2. And then reverse it. Actually, because we should maybe talk about that for you actually too, because maybe that would help.
Yeah.
I could part of it to change up how you are absorbing the magnesium in your systems.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I asked, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what the point of the app is, so that I can have all this stuff in there so you can have places just find little tricks. Okay, take a breath in, set your radiation. We're going to bring that hip up, out, good around, keeping the plant. We're going to reverse it. Oops. One more time. Good. Just try not to extend in that lower back. Keep it isolated to that hip as best you can. Okay, other side. Take a breath in. Open. Ooh. Well, release there, my hip. Good. And again. Good. Well done. Okay, have a seat. We'll do knees, ankles, kneecaps, toes. Okay, I'm gonna let you do it. Right thigh to chest. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Sorry, I took it for granted that you've done this so many times now that you're just gonna do it. Good. Yep. Rotate out, rotate in, get bend. So let's rotate out. Yes, there you go. Okay, reverse it, rotate out, straighten, rotate in and bend, rotate out, straighten. Or did you already do that?
Oh.
Then rotate in and bend. Good. Okay. I think you did them both.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so
I could have messed that up.
angle. No, you're doing great. Take a breath in, set your radiation. So press the foot down, go out and up and around. Good. One more time. Out and up and around. Good. Reverse it. Good. Okay, kneecap. So make sure you're still using your radiation to set your foundation. Press down, out, up, and around 2 times, and then reverse it. Good. Okay, left knee, pull it into your chest, take a nice deep breath in, set that radiation. So let's turn the shin out, straighten out that knee, turn it in, and bend the knee. Out, straighten, in, and bend. Okay, pause, reverse it, turn in, straighten, turn out, and bend. In, straighten, out, and bend. Ankle. Good. Set your radiation, press down. We're going to go out and up and around, through. One more time. Good. And pause and come in and up and around. One more time. Good. Kneecap. Did you have any pain in the ankle?
No.
Okay. And so let's go down, out, up and around with that kneecap for 2 times. Good, and then reverse it. Okay, toes. All right, and if you need to sit to do this or hold on the wall, feel free. Take a breath in. You're gonna lift the big toe 4 times for 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job. All right, small toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Everybody up. And tap down with the big toe for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, small toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot better. Good job. Good practicing. All right, let's get started. For this workout, we want to start trying to correct some of that really deep tightness that Nick has been showing he has in our other kid stretch workouts, and that I'm sure that you have. Targeting some of this really deep tissue in a way that you can effectively make change in it and safely is difficult. And that's why, you're continuing to struggle with certain movements. So we're going to use this chair to help assist us. We're going to go into a pigeon pose. We're going to start with the left hip and then we'll work on the right. And we're going to work on trying to position Nick, because when he first is going to get into the position due to the tightness, his pelvis is going to be rotated open toward the right side with the leg back. So we want to find a position where we can square off his pelvis, and you want to try to work to do that. If you need to put something else on the top of the chair to even lift up your left hip some more, you can do that as well. if you're going to use a kitchen chair, I just think it's the easiest to use for the seat-wise, but you have to make sure that when we're putting pressure on to do our kinetic stretching, you want to be pushing down on the chair. Don't necessarily be pulling it or pushing it because we don't want it to tip over. You could also put the back of it up against the wall, but if you're pulling on it, you could still, kind of tip backwards. So just be very aware of that so you don't get hurt. We're going to use a yoga block underneath his right knee. You may, depending on the length of your legs, you may need to use 2. If you don't have yoga blocks, you might just have to get really creative to even maybe a stool or something with a towel on it so you don't aggravate your knee. So what we're going to do here, Nick, is go into pigeon pose. So you're going to put the outside of your left leg on the seat of the chair. Good. And then for him, I'm going to put the yoga block here under his right knee. Yep. And so, perfect. So he would naturally have this leg out to the side. So we're kind of making him bring the right thigh to the midline more and think about turning in a little bit with that right thigh at the hip so that his pelvis is nice and squared off. Okay, so this is a really, really deep stretch for him. And we're going to do our 2-minute passive stretch here. Just trying to relax into this. Is that too much for you?
No.
Okay.
It's a lot, but it's
doable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why don't we really take advantage of our expansive breathing in this position just to help calm the nervous system so that those tissues can relax even further. So let's take a nice deep breath in for a count of 4. And breathe out for a count of 8. 6, 7, 8. Breathe in for 4. Out for 8. In for 4. Out for 8. One for 4. Out for 8. In for 4. Out for 8. Are you in pain?
No.
Okay. In for 4.
It is just a lot.
Okay. Last one. Breath in for 4. And out for 8. Okay, so stay in this position. Do you need to modify this at all, Nick?
I don't think so.
Do you want to move forward on the chair at all? Would that help ease up the tension in your hip? Not really.
Not really.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is a kinetic stretch. If you do not have as much tightness, you could, instead of using the chair, you could just use a bolster to put underneath the left hip. So the kinetic stretch is going to be, sorry, I thought you could see me on the ground there, is going to be, we're going to take a breath in, use our full irradiation, and pull ourselves into that forward flex position at the hip, and then use the back of the hip pressing into the chair to pull us back up into sitting. Okay. Do you have enough space you could keep your arm along your side there? Like if you straighten out your elbows, just pull you in, or are you going to hold the top of the chair?
I was going to hold.
Okay, perfect. That's fine.
But I will try not to use it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So the point is to use the tissue when you're pulling yourself in on the inside of the thigh to pull you in, and then the back of the hip to press you, to pull you back up. So let's take a nice deep breath in, full irradiation, contract everything else in your body. Now contract the inner thigh to flex yourself down. Good at that pause point. Now activate the back of the hip to press through and pull up. Good. You want to rest, reset. We're going to do 2 more. Pull yourself into that hip hinge position. Good. Pause and pull yourself out with the back of the hip. Good. Rest. Reset. Try not to rush it. Be really intentional about how you're moving into that contraction. Good. And now, there you go. We're using the back of the hip to pull you up.
Pushing up.
Yeah, like pressing through. Okay,
Yeah,
great. All right, so now what we're going to do is some knee hinges on the right leg. So you're going to do a full irradiation, and we're going to try to touch your right heel to your butt 5 times, slow and controlled. So take a nice deep breath in, full irradiation, control, nice and slow. Try to pull that heel to your butt for 1. Good. Tap that toe. 2. Good. Tap that toe. 3. 4. And 5. Okay. And let's rest. All right. So let's ease out of this position a little bit. So I'm going to have you actually slide back off the chair so you can kind of ease out of this. Put your hands on the seat of the chair. Good. Yep, perfect. I just don't want anything to get you to hurt anything. Okay, so let's, yeah, perfect. There you go. Nice. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go into tall kneeling for a second. You can use the chair to support you.
What is tall kneeling?
Yeah, just kneel on both knees.
Whew, okay.
How's that feel? Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot.
You gotta feel like your legs a little wobbly today.
Yeah.
All right. So now, when you're ready, we'll try to get that right thigh up onto the chair. I just wanted you to let that tissue kind of settle in for a second. Okay. Okay. You're gonna have. You think the right hip is gonna give you an easier time?
Maybe a harder time.
Okay.
Let's find out.
Let me grab the other pad in case you need support. Oh, grab this pillow here. Okay, so let's see. So let's try to now, after you get that, shake that out in the left hip, let's get that right thigh down. Here's the block under your left knee. So what's hard to probably see from this angle is that, his hips are not settled in. So he's still kind of open. So you're just going to take a second to breathe into it and relax. Do you want to put this pillow under your right hip? Here, lift up for 1 second. Does that help?
I think so. Oh, wow.
Too much?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Do you want to slide your knee towards your midline a little bit more? Would that help ease up the tension in your hip? Like get your ankle off the side there? Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier, but I feel like...
You're missing some of the stretch?
Yeah, kind of doing the right work in the previous position.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. As long as you... So maybe just don't go all the way back to where you were. Just go partially so that you're not, too intense. Okay, good. Yep. And so to get yourself squared off, it's like that left thigh. You're almost going to turn the thigh toward your midline a tiny bit and then just kind of squeeze it in. And then, yeah, so now his pelvis is kind of straight on. Good. Sure it's enough for 2 minutes is not too much?
I think I can get by.
Okay. All right. So let's take a breath in. We'll do 6 expansive breaths here. Take a nice deep breath in for 4. And out for 8. In for 4. And out for 8. In for 4. Out for 8. Five, 6, 7, 8. In for 4. Out for 8. So always our tendency to rush that exhale breath, but that's what you really want to make as slow as possible. Okay, last one, in for 4. And out for 8. Okay. So stay in this position. Try not to move yourself out. Do you need me to move that yoga block behind your knee there? Or is it in a good position?
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so our kinetic stretch, you're going to use the tissue on the inside of the thigh to pull yourself down, to keep that spine tall. You're going to hinge into that when you get to that base position. Now you're going to like contract all the tissue on the back of the thigh and you're in the hip. You're going to feel like you're pressing the leg into the seat, and that's going to pull you back up, keeping that spine straight and in control. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Set your max irradiation and hinge yourself into that forward position. Good. Yeah. Good. You cramping?
No.
Okay. Rest and reset. Good. Pull yourself down actively. Good. Pause and don't rush the up. Yep. Contract it. There you go. Beautiful. Good. Rest, reset. Full irradiation, safest and greatest. Pull yourself in it. Nice. And now pull yourself out. Excellent. Doing okay?
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to do 5 knee hinges with the left leg. So we'll do max irradiation, slow and controlled movement. Take a nice deep breath in, full irradiation, and try to touch that heel to your butt for 1, 2. I'm gonna lift this up a second. Good. And 3, 4, great, and 5. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to get rid of the chair and we're going to sit on the bolster on the floor in butterfly position. So we want to work on some of that hip rotation in the seated position. Nick's on the bolster to help open up his hips, and he was just making an excellent point that if he's at home, you know, he can sit in this butterfly position and grab his ankles and pull himself, you know, deeper into that kind of hip rotation. But how is he doing that? Yeah, you can do it here. So like here, this is no problem. But the issue is when he is trying to keep a neutral spine and we're controlling other details about his body positioning, that's where we are able to find the struggle and the really deep, tight stuff and the weak stuff. And that's what we're looking for, because if you don't seek those spots out, you will always avoid them and they will always just get worse and you'll never correct them and you'll, you know, never truly progress forward. So that's the goal through all this. And the other point being that you walk about the world mostly, you know, you should be able to maintain a neutral spinal posture, neck, upper back, lower back, while moving your hips and your shoulders. We're just going to keep it isolated to that area. So if everything else you're doing in your training is just about creating a start point and end point, but you don't care about how you're going about moving through that range, then you're truly always going to just train your compensations. And so this kind of training, I do a lot with neutral spine because people come into my office mostly because over time they have no control over their spinal posture and their body has developed compensations and locked them up in certain ways in order to keep them up and moving around. So if you don't want to need me or, you know, rehab or have injuries develop, then you need to focus on these little details and gain that, you know, isolated control over those segments and stuff. So that's my soapbox message for the day. Okay, so in this butterfly position, if this is still too, you may or may not need the bolster. Another modification is just letting your feet be out in front of you a little bit more. That will take some pressure off. You can sit, the ideal position would be feet together, pulled in tight, and you're sitting nice and tall without needing any support, neutral spine. But we're going to be actually, this would be an extreme end range for Nick. We don't want to hold that end range right now. We're going to do some lifts and hinges and hovers and stuff. So I actually want him to move his hands back behind him. Do you need yoga blocks?
No.
Okay. Oh, good, perfect. So he's gonna put his palms down, so open that up, open up the front of the hips, and then if you also needed to, you could pull your feet away. If you happen to be very flexible and you're doing this workout, you're on the ground, a way to now increase the positioning would be to kind of bend yourself forward. But again, we're gonna be not in end range. So the first move, we are going to alternate from right to left side. Actually, we'll start with the left first since that's where we began. So left to right side, you're going to use a full irradiation. We're going to lift the thigh up, and then you're going to flex the ankle and hinge the knee out to straighten, and then hinge the knee back and control and bring the foot back to this start position. And then we'll do the other side, we'll rest, and then we'll do that on each side 5 times. Okay? Alright, so let's take a nice deep breath in. Full irradiation, anchor that breath, lift that left thigh up, hinge the knee out. Great, hinge it back and control it down. Slow and controlled. Good. Others, cramping.
Oh, yeah.
It was bound to happen.
Matter of time.
Alright, great. Good. Reset your isometric contraction. Good, full. Lift the right thigh. Good. Hinge that right knee out. Nice. Slow and controlled. Bring it back in. Nice. Rest. Do you want to rest and reset between each one? Will that help you?
Just a breath.
Okay. Good. Lift the left thigh. Straighten out that knee and control the end. Don't let it control you. Great. Good. Much better. So you don't want it to just flop in. You want to be able to control that movement. Right side. Beautiful. Okay. Moving on to the left. Get that full irradiation. Hinge. Bring it back in. Beautiful. Nice job. Okay. Move on the right. Nice. Okay. 2 more each side. Move at your pace. Smooth motion you're working on. Do the best you can. One more each side. It's getting easier. Nice job. Beautiful. Okay, so don't get out of this position. We're actually going to intentionally just move into, a figure 4. So we're actually going to put the right leg out straight in front of us. Good. And we are going to work on trying to now externally rotate the left thigh. So we're going to contract the back of the hip and try pushing, pressing the knee to the floor. I actually wonder if you should come off the bolster. So we want to increase your hip positioning a little bit for this one. How's that, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, get the position that you feel was most comfortable for you. And for 5 times, I want you to maintain your full irradiation. You're going to basically just try to touch the knee to the floor as best you can, and then pull it back up. Like very actively use the inner thigh to pull the knee back up to this start position, and then you're going to pull it back down 5 times, okay? Does that make sense? Take a nice deep breath in. Full irradiation. Pull it down. Good. And then control it up. Don't lose your base position. Nothing else should be moving. Only that thigh. Good. For 2. Nice. Yep. 3. Don't hold your breath. Make sure you're shallow breathing. Great job. Awesome. Great job. Whew. Doing okay?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's set a full irradiation. We're going to switch our legs. So what you're going to take a breath in, move that right leg back into butterfly. Good, and then control the left leg out. Beautiful. Alright, so when you're ready, you're going to take a full irradiation, and we're going to do that 5 times on the right. So you're contracting the back of that right hip to pull that thigh down to the floor. And then you're pulling it back up, actively controlling the motion. Good. Nice job. Good, 2 more. You got this. Good. And rest. Well done, sir.
Whew.
Okay, I want to do one last thing.
Okay.
I want to have you actively put your right leg forward. We're going to keep your knees soft, and we're just going to do a quick 3 kinetic stretches into like a forward
Hamstrings?
hinge. Yeah, hamstring stretch. Do you need? Let me put you on the bolster though. So we're going to go back on the bolster for Nick. Lift yourself up to just assist you here. I just don't want him locking his knees out. He's going to keep his knees nice and soft. Do you want a pad under your heels when you're pressing through? Is that going to be too tender there?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Alright, so let's sit nice and tall. You're going to do full irradiation. We'll reset our radiation between each kinetic stretch. So I'd say put your arms out to the sides. You can really lock out those elbows. Take a nice deep breath in. Full irradiation. Soft knees. Contract your quads to pull you into tall. Yeah, that hip hinge. Good. As that deep as you can go. Okay, contract the back of your hip and thigh. Press your heels in and pull up. Good. Rest. Okay, make sure you're not locking out your knees. Keep them soft. Deep breath in. Set your full irradiation. Safest and greatest. Contract your quads and pull yourself down. Keep that chest high. Good. Pause. And now back of that hip. Drive the heels in and pull up. Good. Last one. Breath in. Full irradiation. Contract those quads and pull you in. Pause. Pull yourself out. Use that back of the thigh. Great. All done. Well done. Good job.